That's why Tom's in here.
It's under the thing, Jeremy.
All right, Matt, we got it. All right, well, can we hear me? I have some comments about District 6. District 6, I think, is a very good thing for the town of Cape Vincent, especially if you're a District A user. If you're a B user, it's not very good for you. My concern is that I was here on March 21st when they had a meeting, and Supervisor Hershey, and thanks to Steve Weed, I have a big bald spot in the back of my head when you watch the meetings, it shows up. March 21st, Mr. Hershey did say we will not be forced into the districts. Okay, now all of a sudden they're going to be forced into the districts. So I went back and looked at September 5th meeting, the public comment meeting. At 1 hour and 16 minutes into the meeting, Mr. Gibo told our present board how to close the meeting, whether to close it or adjourn it, and had to explain to our board how to actually close a meeting. And an hour and 17 minutes into the meeting, a motion was made to close for public comments, and there's no more public comment allowed in Water District 6. At an hour and 18 minutes, Mr. Byrne made a motion and vote on that at a later date. At an hour and 19 minutes, Mr. Snyder addressed everybody and considered options and questions that were not answered from the board or from Bernier and Carr. At an hour and 22 minutes, Matt from Bernier and Carr said the funding source was still good for 2 years from the date that it was proposed. So that gives us 2 years from the public meeting to answer the public's questions, which you guys closed the meeting at. At an hour and 24 minutes, Mr. Hershey, Supervisor Hershey, said he would consider in reviewing the questions. At an hour and 26 minutes, Mr. Byrne, and this is quoted off from Steve Weed Productions, "We take this matter very seriously. We need to think this over and a couple of weeks to talk about it. To talk it over. That's quoted. The next statement, when asked by the public, was, Mr. Byrne replied, "All meetings are open to the public." So after that, if you vote on this matter tonight without more public input or discussion in a true open meeting, it proves that you've been having closed meetings. I see on your agenda that you have answers to the questions, which means that you guys have talked in a non-open public meeting, unless all those answers, those questions came from Bernier and Carr, which you guys have all seen, unless they're going to be surprises to you. So that proves that you guys have had closed meetings. There was 4 of you on September 10th, primary day, up at the town barn, when I went and got my hunting license. And with a closed meeting, that brings us into ethics issues. My first meeting I attended here in Cape Vincent was after you guys left New York City, where you went down there for your training every year. 80% of the courses, if I recall correctly, were ethics. So, most of you people sitting on the town board are going to benefit from Water District 6 and receiving the water as an A user, while making B users pay for that. So, there's other conflicts of interest with the board. There's some members of the board that have a deeded interest in that. Mr. Brooks Bragdon is president of Johnson Development, that has, on the deed that Tommy Rhinebeck gave you, is signed as president of Johnson Development. So on Tommy Rhinebeck's, Richard Etzel's, and all the other, Brooks Bragdon is the president of Johnson Development and sold them deeded water rights. Now you have a very big conflict of interest with the ethics board. Personally, you guys can make your decision whatever way you want and lie in the bed you want to do. With the ethics board going through it secondhand, it's not a fun process. And I know the township of Cape Vincent, if you guys make the decision without having another public hearing and addressing it properly, ethics violations will probably be brought against you one way or the other. So choose wisely. Thank you.